Everybody, hold on. All right. Hey, everyone. Now we're rolling. Now we're on. Maybe I should raise this a bit so I'm not fucking crouched over. What's going on, guys? Sorry, me and Paul didn't do a broadcast for you guys this Sunday. Instead, we just had a little private chat. So it sucks for you guys. You know, I've been wanting to do this video since VidCon, even before VidCon, and I really want to do it because the people in this picture right here, the skeptic community, I have some issues with them. I have obvious political disagreements because the skeptic community, I feel like, is a euphemism for center Democrat. Those that call themselves classically liberal. It's all just these euphemisms they're using to differentiate themselves from the people they vote with, the social justice warriors. So let me tell you guys, and let me first off by saying, all of these guys are smart asses. They all pop shit. So anything I'm saying, again, I have a lot of respect. I admire. I subscribe to, I think, everyone in that picture. And there's only a handful of them that I think are just pretentious assholes. I mean, they're all pretentious on some level, but pretentious assholes are a whole other thing. So let me tell you what I see has happened. The election's over. School's out. So you no longer have a steady stream of low-hanging fruit. What happened when that happened? Well, everyone started turning on each other. And you now have these inner fragments. Like the other night, I mean, fuck, some of these people, you want to, I mean, my video, I'm trying to tell you guys, you look thirsty. And when I see a video, I guess Rage After the Storm did something on race realism, then right away the Warskis cover it, and they're just overly dismissive of it. And I'm trying not to jumble all my points, but let me just throw this out here. What are you skeptical of? That's my flat-out question to all of you. What are you skeptical about? Because you seem like your minds are made up. You don't seem like you're looking at both sides of an argument. It always just looks like you have a position, a center Democrat position, and then you will deconstruct, debunk, whatever, any position that falls outside of that. Now, granted, there are some more conservative positions, and there's some overlap, and I mean, I'm not talking in absolutes. I assume we all know that, hashtag not all. But, well, I mean, here's a good one. Sargon of Akkad and Dave Rubin, I saw them talking, and they were bringing up, oh, I don't even know your position, so what's your position on abortion? And they both said, it's a necessary evil. Necessary evil? Oh, well, just tell me, what are the other necessary evils? I mean, if killing babies is a necessary evil, why not? And in fact, I would love to see a lot of you skeptics, since you're also pro-science and, everything like that. And that's what it really is. People who fall into the skeptic category, what they do is they disregard religion, and then they just sort of follow science, which, I mean, there's a million reasons why this is problematic. Science is the business of constantly debunking what you already knew. But they then take science and sort of bunker down on that, and it's like, look at all the science you're taught in school. The out-of-Africa theory. There's the fact that, there's evolution. People believe in this giant umbrella term, evolution, when there's actually 6 different kinds, and only one of them is scientific by nature, that has been tested, observed, and everything else. All of the, I mean, people are taking theories as facts, and then that's their foundation. So when your foundation isn't even a fact, but it's a theory, then you're just building on top of that. It's like, when they go to these scientists and they say, here's the other one that really bothers me. this whole, because now we're playing with their euphemisms, the fact that they changed global warming to climate change, and now people like myself have to say, yeah, well, climate change is real, but, man-made, blah. No, fuck it. No climate change. Climate isn't changing. It's doing what it fucking does. End of story, period, full stop. So, like I was saying, let me get a video from one of you skeptics about when life actually begins. At what point is the baby at what phase? At what point are you not just a bundle of cells? I mean, why don't you deconstruct some of these beliefs? You're not going to do that because it's a centrist Democrat position. I mean, there's a mile-long list. Anything that's I would really love to see you guys put forth skeptical arguments, not about other people's positions, but about your own. Win me over. I would enjoy that a lot more than this desperate shit. This thirsty, desperate shit. Like, let me tell you. You want to talk about false flag conspiracy theories? What the fuck were you guys doing at Vidcon with Anita Sarkeesian? I mean, just fucking milking that shit. Every single one of you. Oh, it's garbage human. I know you're playing it up for the views because you don't have other shit to talk about. You look thirsty. You look desperate. You think Anita Sarkeesian... Here's the other thing, all of you guys. Did you really think Anita Sarkeesian... Wasn't Feminist Frequency just pandering for money a few months ago? So, of course, everyone is playing this up. Everyone. It's dollar signs. This is like a false flag. I mean, you guys went there. You knew you were looking to get something to cover... And because you didn't get a Q&A and you just got that random thing, oh, well, now you have to play it up. Like, you actually started to care what Anita Sarkeesian thinks about you. It looks thirsty. And it's not just going on with these guys. It's going on within the right wing, too. I've seen Lauren Southern do videos about the alt-right versus the alt-light, all these divisions. And people are going to have to start branching out. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been putting out a lot of new content, because I'm not just going to be giving garbage. I'll put out some music production tutorials. I've been adding stuff to my gaming channel. I've been doing other things, even though there is lots of news going on. I mean, there's lots of stuff with Trump. There's, the CNN thing, CNN fucking committing suicide and the whole bit. But this fucking cannibalism shit, where it's like they turn on each other, and it really shows you that there isn't that, and you guys can take issue with me for saying that, for saying what I'm about to say, but you guys may see yourselves as being different from the social justice warriors. The only real difference is your conduct, because the matter in which you deal with people. I mean, again, look at what happened with Rage whatever the Storm. She puts out a video just saying that there actual is, science to back differences in race and everything. She used Daily Stormer, and what do all these people do? They go to the illogical, let's attack the messenger. Let's not deal with what was actually said. Let's not deal with the content. Let's deal with the source of the content, because if we can invalidate that, therefore whatever. I mean, it's the same as, one of these social justice where you're saying, you can't believe that because that's your cis, hetero, straight, white male bias. You're not dealing with the argument. You're using one of these illogical, dismissive fallacies. Steven Crowder even mentioned to Sargon in an old interview they did, where he said, you guys in the skeptic community allow people like Sam Harris and Hitchens and all these other people to use illogical fallacies that you would call out and ridicule anyone else for using, but because of your own personal biases, you either give them a pass or you don't even notice that they are doing that. And it's what I keep seeing. So I'm asking now for all of these guys to please have a moment of introspection. Think about what you're doing. I mean, two of the people I'm looking at right here, Chris Reagan, Bering, those are two of my favorites. And it's because they're making content like comedy and other things. Like, they'll cover issues, but they know that's not just their shtick. And I mean, other people do it a little bit here and there too. Sargon has some alternate channels and everything. Again, I'm not bashing these people. I really like them. But in the past 2 or 3 weeks, what have you given us? Shit. Gossip. You've perpetuated drama. It all just looks really thirsty and childish. And it's really sad because it's like, let me put it like this. The way CNN is responding to Trump tweeting out a wrestling meme of him clotheslining a CNN logo and them acting like, oh, it's a call for violence. It's, this. It's, all the pearl clutching. That's what you did with Anita Sarkeesian at Vidcon. She called one of you guys a garbage human. And next thing you know, you're hitting up the Vidcon organizers and all of this other nonsense trying to get her pulled for... I mean, you're social justice warriors. Granted, I understand you're using their logic against them. And now here's the other thing. So you have all of that going on. All of these people are playing into it and everything like that. And then what do I see? I see Armored Skeptic, and I will tell you, he's one of the ones I do have a problem with because he's overly pretentious, and he's not that bright. I mean, he's brighter than some, not as bright as he thinks he is, and he's not skeptical about virtually anything. He just sort of mocks and scoffs and everything else. The new social justice warriors. I assume this video is about you guys at VidCon, right? Right? No, it's about Laura Loomer and the Rebel Media, her and Jack Posobiec at the Shakespeare thing, which, I mean, Lauren Southern did a really amazing video on this where she basically talks about, on a surface level, it sounds like a good idea. Give them a taste of their own medicine. We have to fight fire with fire. And I agree with that. You can't have these people that, in the political divide, you can see it as the sort of right wing is the masculine father figure, and the left wing is the mother figure. Again, Ann Coulter has talked about this with giving women the right to vote, why liberalism rises. There's multiple reasons why, these sort of embody these different archetypes and everything. So, oh my God, I'm losing my point because I'm just rambling. So you have this go on, and it sounds like a good idea, and we have to fight fire with fire, and then it just ends up looking really bad and distasteful, like Posobiec saying they all look like Goebbels or whatever. What I was saying is you basically have the left, who what they are is they are the equivalent of the girl on the playground who's going around pinching all the boys, poking them, antagonizing all of them, and saying, well, you're not going to do anything because I'm a woman. You're not going to do anything because I'm a girl. You're not going to do anything because I'm a... And then when she gets hit, she says, how could you do that? I can't believe it. I'm a woman. This is so unfair. That's what you guys did at VidCon with Anita Sarkeesian. That's what the media is doing. That's what the liberals were doing over the Shakespeare thing. It's all fucking stupid. Seriously. It's stupid. You're not helping yourself. I mean, you're helping yourselves as far as short-term monetary. I mean, Sargon's making out like a bandit. He ended up on a bunch of other shows and everything else. But still, even at that, Sargon goes on the fucking Joe Rogan show. I saw Alex Jones just responded to this, being semi-dismissive about the whole gay frogs thing and everything else. How about you guys get into that? I mean, I did a video going through, who is it, Jeff Holiday or something? He's another one of these morons. Going through clips of Alex Jones's things, and I mean, it's essentially him going and saying, well, Alex Jones is selling you this product, and it does what it's advertised to do. Yeah, buddy. What the fuck? I mean, just all of these, acting like I gotcha when you only know half the fucking story, and you just look desperate. Transgender frogs. Oh, Science News for Students, NBC Connecticut. Presentation on it. fucking sciencenews.org. I mean, there's been tons. This was, I Googled this. Weed killer creates Mr. Moms, transsexual frogs. There's you can Google this shit. I mean, it's happening. I did see Bering did a thing with a video with this other guy recently, and they talked about it. And again, if you were to go to someone like me, who I would never refer to myself as a skeptic, because I don't need to brand myself as something that I actually am. I think it's kind of a bit of over-accounting, but I know you have pharmaceutical runoff in the water, birth control, which is a hormone modulator of sorts. I also know that there's this line of products that are BPA-free, BPA, bisphenol A. That's another estrogen mimicker. I know it's also in a lot of the plastics. It has to do with the DuPont company and when they set up their patents and everything like that, and the formulas they use for plastics and whatnot. So I know all of that. So when I know that there's a society inundated in estrogen. Oh, and also Faith Goldie. Everyone check her out. That woman is amazing. She just did an interview with Stefan Molyneux, and here's the other that's going to lead me into my next point. But she did one where she was covering soy and all of this stuff. Why don't we do videos on why all the dudes are a bunch of fucking pussies like Faith Goldie is? Because that then explains the transsexual frogs and everything, because you realize how much everyone's hormones are being messed up. I mean, I'll tell you, at this rate, in people's personal lives, in their medical health lives, as far as declining sperm count and everything like that, even in terms of irrationality, people joining Antifa and everything, I think these hormonal issues are, I mean, average man, even if he's in good shape, has half the testosterone and sperm count as they did 50 years ago. In the private conversation me and Paul were having the other day, he even said, since I started working out, I'm like a teenager again. I'm walking around with a hard-on all day. And I'm like, yeah, because now your hormones are doing what they're supposed to do. That's how men are supposed to be. So now this will lead me in beautifully to my next point. Stefan Molyneux. You wonder why he isn't part of the skeptic community? Because he's actually a skeptic. He is one who has said, on his search for higher truth and everything like that, he finds it hard to get into the idea of creationism, that there's a God, creator, clockmaker, whatever you want to say. Even though science now is entertaining simulation theory and everything like that, because they see that there's a coding to reality. It's structured. It's not this haphazard, accidental, somehow there was a bang and an explosion that then ended up creating things, even though that defies every other explosion that's ever happened ever. But, we'll let that slide. I mean, really, come on, guys. Get skeptical towards your views about evolution. Can I get a video on that? I would love these videos. The skepticism on abortion, skepticism on creationism. I think those would be some good ones to start at. I want to see you challenge your own views. Stop challenging the views you disagree with. Challenge your own personal views. I mean, because these are views I used to have. I would say if this was when I'm 31. If this was when I was 21, I would be one of you guys. But I've grown out of that. I've had conversations where a close friend of mine was in my face going to me saying, monkeys hang out in cages and throw their shit at each other. You've written thousands of songs, and you think you came from a monkey? You don't think there's some divine spark of a creator aspect in you? I mean, I look at the logic of it. Here's my simple logic, and people try to turn this into, I think it's like the a tornado assembling a tractor or something in a junkyard. There's some typical creationist argument that they try to equate this to because they're comfortable debunking that talking point one. But I look at it simply as everything around me, my TV remote, my vaporizer, my cup of coffee, everything in life that I enjoy, that brings me pleasure, was taken from the mental idea and then manifested into reality through a human, or you know what I'm getting at, basically. It was all created. So if everything in life that I see, that I enjoy, that I appreciate, that I love, was created by something or someone, whether it be mechanical or human or whatever, why would I assume the complete opposite about myself and the very foundation of this existence? Doesn't that sort of seem contrary? Like, everything everywhere that we all enjoy was created by something, but we were created by nothing? That doesn't seem logical. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't. Anyway, Stefan Molyneux, it says, I can't really get into this whole religion thing, but because he's skeptical and he's looked at it, he realizes that religion plays a very, very important part. And religious societies are actually more productive, less crime, more community, stronger families. I mean, they are better than secular societies by every metric. And and you can have a balance. With America, they always said, America could retain its secular democracy as long as it had a strong moral religious populace running it. They understood the dangers of having a religious nation, but they knew there had to be that balance. And because we're now off balance, you see where it's going. The other thing is, they've done studies, and this is one of the things where I can say, even personally with me, I enjoy sex as much as the next mammal, but they've done studies where if sex is not incentivized and restricted and everything like that, society will fall apart if women can fuck freely, because essentially men will create society in an attempt to get in a woman's pants. There's a really good video. There's a cartoon kind of drawing one with Black Pigeon Speaks talking about this, the inevitable collapse of feminist societies. I recommend everyone check that out. It just sort of goes through this, and it makes complete sense, and that's why you can have a liberalized Western democracy like Sweden or the UK, and it can be conquered by Islam. And it has to do with the sexual restriction thing. I had been meaning to do another video about this where I was going to talk about this term that gets thrown around, that religion is derived from the term religare, which means to bind and to restrict. And a lot of people, because we want to be free and we want to experience and everything, they hear restriction and they automatically think bad. But restrictions are good things at times. It depends what's the intention of the restriction. And, if you're diabetic, you should probably restrict your sugar intake, right? Makes sense. Anyway, so that's one of the things where you have people like Stefan Molyneux where they have their position, but because they're skeptical enough to look at it, they can see, all right, well, I may not believe in this, but I'd be in better shape if I was living in a religious community. What's another one? Vaccines. Give me some skepticism on vaccines, guys. Why don't you go to Merck and look at the insert? Safe and effective, right? Let's see. Merck MMR insert. Talk about vaccine courts. Talk about how shady that is. Let's see. Here's the insert. Again, this was covered on Bering's channel. So Bering, you're the fucking exception to all of this from what I know. And if any of you other guys have covered any of this and I just haven't caught it, I'm sorry. But here you have, what is it? Contradictions, warnings, precautions. Oh, what are all of these? Are these all side effects? Possible side effects and dangers? Adverse reactions. Oh, man. So, you have it. See all this? I've covered this so many times. You have all this stuff in here, and I'll show you. I'll even throw you guys a bone. These are the ones you want to pay attention to. These two right here. Because these are generalized brain disorders, brain inflammation, brain swelling, and everything like that. You see these two things? I'm not even going to try to pronounce them. The two I have highlighted. they cause autism. Now listen to me carefully. Those two lead to autism. So when the vaccine companies come out and say vaccines don't cause autism, they're telling you a half-truth. And it's a half-truth that is very, 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 very important in terms of the law and legalities and loopholes and things like that. Because as long as there's this step in the middle where vaccines don't cause autism, vaccines cause encephalopathy or whatever, and the encephalopathy causes autism. See, when they put that extra step in there, oh, well, it doesn't cause that. It causes the one thing which that causes that. Oh, so now vaccines don't cause autism. Of course, this is, again, lawyer talk, and that's why in Italian courts they've ruled that they do cause it and everything else. But, I mean, really, give me some skepticism on safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, and the mantra that gets repeated while no one pays attention to the shit on the insert for the shit you're shooting up into yourself. Also, can I get some skepticism on the fact that you never encounter any of these illnesses through passing through the skin barrier? The way we give them these vaccines, the whole concept of it, learned immunity and everything, that's a real thing. There is something to that. No one debates that. You've had stories of tribes where they would find the sick person in the tribe, cut them with a knife, and then cut everyone else with the blood of the sick person on it. So again, this goes back to ancient tribal things. But you don't encounter, say, chickenpox through passing through your skin. So what they do is they have to add something to the vaccine to cause the immune system to freak out and to go into working mode, basically. These are called adjuvants. Some of these adjuvants used to be mercury. We also know mercury can cause swelling, inflammation, and all this other stuff, which would then lead to autism. So, I mean, there are numerous things, whether it's the thing itself or the stuff they add to it, or let me get some skepticism, guys. I want skepticism on the centrist Democrat points that keeps you in the camp with the social justice warriors. That's what I'd like to see, rather than this fucking snowflake shit because Anita Sarkeesian said something mean. I also don't know what you guys are trying to accomplish. This is a question for the Warskis specifically. What are you trying to accomplish with Francesca Ramsey? I understand here. I guess here's what I'm getting at. It looks like you're trying to put yourselves out of business. Because I just want to know, if you don't have Marxism to fight against and the social justice nonsense to rally against, and say you convert Francesca the way Lacey Green has been won over, then what? When you're all buddy-buddy and you don't want to make videos about these people anymore, what are you going to cover? Are you going to move on to actual news? Are you, I'm just curious. It really, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. And it seems kind of self-defeating. And in the process, it really does just make you guys all look very lumped together and kind of gossipy and everything else, where I don't know. I'm running out of steam with all of this. If I had more of their videos pulled, I'm sure I could go through it. But I just see all of this infighting and this sort of thirsty, I mean, there was already an issue with, if there's a video on a topic, everyone else is going to make a video on that topic. I mean, at least now they've kind of consolidated it, where if there's something, they're all just going to hop in a live stream about it and everything. But I don't know. It bothers me. I appreciate the ones where they're like, oh, Worski's done this, so's Blair, so's Shu, I'm not going to touch it. There's just, people got to start branching out. They have to start switching things up. They have to start, if you're all this tight and this buddy-buddy, you got to just really say, hey, man, What angle are you going to take that from? All right, that blows mine out of the water. You go for it. I'm going to let you take this one. Instead, you get 10 or 12 videos of everyone saying the same thing in different wording about the same shit. I just don't get it. And again, this is constructive criticism. I want the scoffing to stop. I want you guys to stop acting like the social justice warriors where you have your little in crowd, and if someone doesn't stick to the dogmatic view of the in crowd, they then must be ridiculed and exiled. I want that shit to stop. Anyway, I guess that's all I got to say on this one. Have a good one, everyone.